Hey, product bosses, have you heard? We're doing a 5-day completely free challenge starting Monday, May 10th. Join us. It's absolutely free.
It's called Bestseller Secrets Challenge. Thousands of product bosses have gone through it and have transformed their businesses in just 5 days. We are going to help you lean into what is selling right now by teaching you how to look at your numbers, understand what your customers actually want to buy from you, and how to use your best sellers to grow a thriving business. So you aren't just throwing spaghetti at the wall, hoping something sticks. We want to help you pandemic proof your business, and we are going to do it together. So go to www.bestsellersecretschallenge.com. We'll put that link in the show notes to make it really easy to sign up. And if you have already taken the challenge, we are inviting you to go through it with us again. Your business has probably changed, and this free challenge will really help you build a sustainable and profitable business.
The Bestseller Secrets Challenge starts Monday, May 10th. It's 5 days of trainings and lives created to help you grow. Join us. It's totally free. You can sign up at www.bestsellersecretschallenge.com. Welcome to the Product Boss Podcast, where we help product-based businesses grow their sales and improve their strategies.
Hey everyone, I want to introduce you to my co-host and biz bestie, Mina Kunlo-Sita, an Amazon guru that has built a multi-six-figure product-based business.
And introducing the other half of the Product Boss, Jacqueline Snyder. She has helped launch and grow over 500 fashion apparel and accessory brands, even one of her own.
And together, we share our inventory of secret weapons that will help you dig deep and do the work it takes.
Are you ready? Let's build together.
Hey, product bosses. Did you know that every Wednesday we have a live talk show called Bosses and Breakfast where we chat business, mindset, mom life, and everything in between? It's a really fun time and it feels like a conversation amongst friends. In fact, sometimes we have conversations that we don't necessarily know that they're going to lead to where they lead, but we get such an amazing reaction from our listeners and from our community and from our students that we actually wanted to bring it to you to hear today.
Yes, our favorite thing about Bosses and Breakfast is that we get together, we get to laugh, we get to be inspired about what's happening, and we get to check in with you and re-motivate you on why you're working so hard. So join us next time. We'd love to see you there. And here's that snippet from one of our shows that got tons of positive response, where we all walked away feeling more inspired and motivated for the week. So let's jump in.
So let's dive into talking about your slow months and your busy months and what that means in your business. So who ever hits a slow month and then freaks out? Like, oh my gosh, this is all ending. Whatever I did before is no longer working. They're never coming back. Anyone ever feel that way?
I mean, everybody, I feel like.
Right?
You know, you get a little bit addicted to the sales coming in. It feels really good. And then you kind of have a hangover when it goes into slow months, right? Because you're so like, let's just take, for example, the holidays. Like if the holidays were really busy for you, you probably felt very hungover in January if they slowed down. Or if January is really busy for you, you probably felt hungover for February. And then you start to have all these self-doubt beliefs coming in, like, oh my gosh, what's happening? Like what Jacqueline said, it's all going to end. What am I doing? What am I supposed to be doing now that I'm, what did I do wrong? All these different
broken.
things.
It'll never work again. That happens, right? And Mina, we've talked about this a lot, but with my other business, it used to be that in December, things would slow down and I wouldn't have a lot of inquiries for new clients. And then she would always tell me, always for the few years that we were friends, she would be like, remember last December when you freaked out and it was fine? It's like, oh yeah. And I was like, I have to mark this in my calendar. So we want you all to realize that, yes, especially Q1, when we're coming off of Q4, basically for product bosses, Q3, Q4 can do 50% of your entire year's business, right? Actually, I'm going to go back. Q4 can do 50% of your entire year's business, not both, because then that would be evenly distributed and that wouldn't make any sense. But Q4 can be 50% of your business. So knowing that, right, a ton of sales come in, you're like, wow, this is amazing. It's working. People love it. People love my product. This is working. And then you hit Q1 and you're like, What happened? Well, it's spending habits. Consumers change, weather changes, things are happening. And that's why we've got all those holidays, right? That's why Valentine's Day pops up. That's why
Right.
then we have Mother's Day. There's things like that that are going to generate sales. So, what do we want them to do when they're thinking about their slow months and their busy months?
Well, I want them to kind of figure out what the cycle of their business is. So if it's a slow month, that they can kind of understand that it is a slow month for them. But the thing, and then what should they do during slow months versus busy months? So when you have let's just again go with the scenario if you have busy months at the end of the year. Well, what should you be doing now that it's beginning of the year and you're in your quote unquote slow months? Well, during that time, you should actually we tell you to stabilize. But what does that mean, stabilizing, right? So what it really means is that you're working on your business. And what we mean by that is like you're thinking about the strategy, you're fixing things that need to be fixed, you're removing obstacles that might have been there before, you're creating processes that need to be established, and you're thinking about it all strategically. This is why in our mastermind, we talk about strategic goals. What are you doing during this time? And it makes a difference if you're in your busy season or if you're in your slow season. So then when you get into your busy season, you can make a whole bunch of money, make more money than than you would have before. And you don't have to make any sort of decisions. So when you're busy and let's say you're picking, packing, making, your head feels like, it's cut off, you're running around with your head cut off or whatever that saying is. Well, lots of times you hit a decision fatigue, you hit a wall. And so when you're trying to do strategic things or build processes, you better bet that you're going to burn yourself out, because you're like, oh, I didn't do this ahead. I didn't hire the right person ahead of time. I didn't figure out the process of onboarding them ahead of time. I didn't figure out my shipping station ahead of time. I didn't figure out my promotions ahead of time. And then you spin out in the other way of that, not because it's slow, because it's too busy. You're having to make too many decisions and you burn yourself out. And so we're trying to balance that, right? With slow months and busy months.
Does that
And
make
you
sense to all
being
of you?
aware.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's and that awareness around it. And we've got a couple masterminders right now that are saying it. So be happy. Brooke is Q2 is slow at sales, but I'm so busy working on my business. And she's working with us. She's
Mm-hmm.
a multi-stream machine student. She's now in the masterminds with us. And she's working with us because one is for selling wool hats. What do you think the busy season is? Q3 and Q4. So
Yep.
what does she have to do right now in her business to stabilize, to gear up for it? Maybe there's a to-do list of things that she never got to. Or maybe it's like Jacinta at Blessing and Light, who is also a masterminder and I think was in or is in multi-stream machine. She said, I
Mm-hmm.
finally realized in August and February that I need to take a vacation and not start new ideas. So
Yeah.
some of you actually have months that feel so slow that that's actually maybe even a recharge month, right?
Mm.
It's a
Oh,
time that
yeah. You
you
feel
could,
guilty almost, right? That's
yeah.
probably what it should have happened in January. If you were slow, is that you should have filled your cup back up.
Yes. And so we have to look at this. Like when we look at the seasons or if we look at animals, squirrels will start to put, nuts away for the winter and they prep for it. It's the same idea for all of you. Our seasons are different. Each of us as product-based business owners have different seasons depending on what we sell and who our customers are. But what can you do? Like how can you be that squirrel that preps for the time that you need to be prepped for? Right. And
Yeah.
so that would be gearing up. So what is the things that you can do working on your business? Because on means maybe you're like, I need to do new photographs or I need a
Mm-hmm.
production calendar. I need a launch schedule or
Need to optimize my website.
I need to count my inventory, right? Things like that. That's the stuff where you're like, I don't have time in my busy times. It's just, you're just flying by the seat of your pants, right? You're just like everywhere doing all the
Mm-hmm.
things. So when it's slower, think about those things. I mean, Mina and I sometimes will go organize a spice drawer.
Yeah.
It's just little things, so it's like organize your desk. That's something you can do. So when you're really starting to feel it, and then you know what, you're going to be pleasantly surprised when you hear that cha-ching on your phone and you're like, oh, the sales have started again. Right. But I
Yeah.
know that I've been working on my business and that I know that I'm going to make X amount of revenue in these other months. So what
Yeah.
we really want you to do you have something to add to that?
Yeah. I was going to
Okay.
say,
Yeah.
do not think that that means that you ghost your customers. You literally are still moving on with your business, showing up on social media. You're not showing up as much, but it's during those times that you deliver cornerstone content. So content that's evergreen, that matters to them, matters to you as a brand, things that give value-based things like what your company is about. Remember, you're reinforcing during this time still. It does not mean that when you're slow, you leave and then you come back when you're busy.
Right. And, when we're talking about social media or even emails, like you need to keep the machine running. You need to keep the algorithm going, but you could totally do it with like setting things on automation. There's things like that. So when you all join not Multi Machine, please join that too. But when you join the Bestseller Secrets Challenge, that's one of the very first things we're going to work on with you. We're going to identify your slow months and your busy months. You're going to look at your revenue. You're going to figure out your months. We're going to do it together. So don't even worry about it right now. Come to the challenge. Let's do it together because, that time you're dedicating that time to you and your business. That's the time that you can work on this part of the project, right? That's the time that you can start to think about this, wrap your mind around it. And then it's going to give you a lot of clarity. You're going to look at your best-selling products. You're going to look at your best-selling months. And then it's going to give you this aha moment of, okay, all right, like maybe January is slower for Suzanne because she says, because in January, everyone has a resolution to not eat sugar and to be healthy. So they're not buying cookies. Right. So it's a slow month. So what could she do, to gear up for probably a very busy month would be Valentine's Day for bakeries and for, chocolatiers and things like that. Well, friends, I hope you had as much fun as we did. If you want to hang out with us live, join us every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Eastern over at our Facebook page or Instagram.
And if you want to hear the whole show, click on the link in our show notes and we'll see you over there. Hey friend, just a quick reminder to sign up for the Bestseller Secrets Challenge. It's a 5-day, totally free week of trainings, private Facebook group, and daily live Q&As with us. We don't want you to miss out on this opportunity to get really clear and focused on what you need to sell to grow a profitable, sustainable, and solid business. Head over to www.bestsellersecretschallenge.com and click on the link in the show notes today, right now.